So we're finished with our first citation. Let's work on our second citation. So, oops. All right, so we've done shepherd. Let's go ahead and go to the next one on the list and go to Slavov. So we're going to start off with last name, Slavov versus shepherd. And one thing to remember from the rules is that you have to put the list of entries should be alphabetized by the last name of the first author of each work. And for all of these works, we only have one author, but a lot of times with journal articles, you will get that's academic journal articles, you will get these multi-author papers. So just something to consider when you're alphabetizing. But in this case, we only have to worry about one. So if we compare Shepherd and Slavov, we're going to be looking at two different authors. So, or just one, and it's two different authors, but one author per paper. So Slavov comes after Shepherd. So let's make Slavov, comma, uppercase S, period. And then we're going to make the year or the date of the article. That's what comes next. And if you ever miss what the directions are, sometimes you can look at your previous examples and see what you did there, and then just do that same thing in your next example. But if you're not sure, always go back to the rules, back to the examples that have been done before, and that way you can see what the proper steps are. So we've got Slavov S, and right now we're going to look and see what information we can find about the date. And it looks like at this point all we have is going to be the month and the year. So we don't have the date, the actual day that it was done. But that's all right. We'll just go with what the information that we have is. So that means we're going to put, what was that again? I already forgot. So it's 2013, December 2013. So let's go back to our page. So 2013, December. All right, so after that that closed parentheses, put a period, and then we need to put the title. So it's going to be How to Fix College Grade Inflation. So here what we're doing is we're going to capitalize the H, and then the rest of the words are going to be lowercase. So how to fix college grade inflation. All right, so we're done with that. And then the next part is going to be the name of the publication. So here we can see the name of the publication. It's going to be the U.S. News and World Report. Here on the second line, you can see that it's listed U.S. News and World Report, Inc. With something like Inc. or in the second, or in Shepherd's entry, you can see group. You can tell that's the publisher, not the publication. What we're interested in is the publication. So because you've got this group, that means it's this entity that's doing it, not the specific paper or actual thing where it's printed. So we've got this U.S. News and World Report. So let's go ahead and write that out in our works cited. So U period S period U.S. News and World Report. And the words that you're going to be using are going to be, all of them are going to be capitalized because they're all content words. So I've used an ampersand symbol for the and. So you can do that, or if you type out and, make sure you start it with a lowercase. Also, one thing I forgot is that my Word document, the margins default to 1.25 inches on the right and the left. So when I first made this, the Slavov entry, what we've got is this instance where it's two lines and you get to see the hanging indent. But if I'm going to be faithful to the format that you're going to be using, I should do 1-inch margins. And then that makes it just one line, so we don't get to see that hanging indent, but it's still a good habit to be in because you are going to encounter those instances where you have to use a hanging indent. So that's going to be our second entry. Let's go ahead and do our third entry. So I'm going back to the list of articles, and we've got the third entry is going to be from Bill Coplin, Great Inflation Works for Today's Students. So Coplin is C, starts with a C, so that comes before S, so that means that's going to be the first entry in our works cited. So Coplin, comma, B, uppercase B, periods, or capital B, period. And then we're going to put the date in parentheses, so begin parentheses, oops. And then right now I can look from the examples, and I've done it enough that I kind of remember these things. Oops, I realized I made one mistake. I forgot to italicize in Slavov's entry. I forgot to italicize U.S. News and World Report. So don't forget to italicize the title of the publication when you're talking about newspapers. So right now I'm going back to Coplin. So we've got these parentheses, the open and the close, but we don't have a date in there. So let's go back to the information, and we can see that it's April 21st, 2004. So we start with 2004, comma, April spelled out, and then 21. And so I've got that closed parentheses. I'm just going to arrow over it, put a period, space, and then I'm going to type the name of the article, Grade Inflation Works for Today's Students. And remember, the only word in this that gets capitalized is going to be the grade, the G, the first letter in the title. None of those words are proper nouns. Otherwise, those words would get capitalized, but here they're not getting capitalized. So we're almost done here. Let's go and see what the publication is. The publication is going to be USA Today. So let's go ahead and type that in, USA Today, period, and we'll italicize that. And then right now, we are done with the Works Cited page. Hooray!